This is how I built a $1 million a year Amazon business that runs without me. This is my full step-by-step guide and course on how to build an Amazon business and scale, find your first product, and actually automate this business. Now, this is part 3 of 6. For those of you guys that don't know me, my name is Eric Cooper. I've sold well over $2 million on Amazon and consistently sell $100,000 a month. In this channel, I show what's working for me and what is not, some of the mistakes I've made along the way, and I help others like you guys take action on starting this business, and hopefully I can inspire some of you. Now, for those of you guys that are first seeing this video and series, this is part 3. So in this free Amazon scaling course that I've made, we're gonna be going over Amazon basics, how to sell any brand, and different account health things with Amazon. I'm gonna be sharing today the only software you need and how to use all of the features in today's software. I'm gonna be only displaying 2 softwares. This is all you need to start and run a 7-figure business. I'm also gonna be showing you guys how to find products to sell as a beginner. I'm gonna be teaching you guys the red flags to watch out for before buying. And the last and final video of this program thing here is a full automation setup guide. So how to create this business into something that's actually automated that can work for you, how you can get VAs overseas for fairly cheap to help run a lot of this business. A lot of my business is now run by virtual assistants overseas. So we're gonna get straight into the only softwares that you guys need to run $1 million a year Amazon business. So the only 2 softwares that you guys need are Keepa and ScanProfit. These are the only softwares that you need. Do not let the gurus shove 8 softwares down your throat because they're just pushing affiliate links, okay? These are the only 2 softwares that you need to just get started with this business model, okay? ScanProfit's going to help us find more profitable products and make sure that it's profitable. And it has another feature as well that makes sure you're not buying bad products, okay? Keepa is going to help us with price history, okay? And just a little bit more data and, analytic stuff that can be helpful to kind of make sure that, you're making a good buying decision. But for the most part, ScanProfit, the reason why it helps make good buying decisions is because of this feature right here called the Scan Score, okay? So all you have to do is install both these Chrome extensions, and the Scan Score, essentially what this does is it analyzes every product that you open, and it will rate it on a scale 1 through 10 based on how good it is, how well it will sell, how consistent the price is, how many sales a month there is, the listing age, all these different factors, how many sellers are on it, all these stuff, okay? And that will give you basically a rating on what's good and what's not. I will suggest that any product that is below a 6 is a product that you should not buy, okay? So for example, there is this product right here, this ColourPop. This is a 5.2, that's not good. This one's a 5.8, another ColourPop one, that's not good. The reason why these products aren't good is because there's only one seller on the listing, and you don't want to ever sell on listings where there's only one seller. Like, that is a big no-no. You always want to look for listings where there's at least 3 to 4 sellers on there, because any listing where there's only one seller, and for this example, ColourPop, if you guys see over here, ColourPop is the seller. So sold by ColourPop, right? And that is the brand that we're looking at, ColourPop. So if the brand is on the listing and they're the only seller, you probably don't want to compete with them because they don't want other people selling on their listings. So that's why you would not want to sell these 2 products, okay? Just to quickly go over some of the features with ScanProfit here, as well as we'll go over Keepa. The biggest thing here is going to be your profit breakdown, so you can see exactly how much profit you're going to make. So with this product, if we're buying it for $25, we're making 76 cents after all of Amazon's fees. If we buy it for $20, we're making $5 profit and a 28% ROI. Typically, I would recommend you guys shoot for at least 20 to 30% ROI to get going. Now, if you found a product that's already approved to sell, you're already ready to go, even if it's 10, 15% ROI, those might be okay products to go ahead and purchase just to get your foot in the door and get your account some more activity, right? If you guys remember my last video talking about ungating, it's important to just start selling stuff in your store so Amazon starts to trust you more. The other thing you can do is you actually have this tab right here called Seller Central. You can actually click this Add Product button and add the product to your store right away to see if you're ungated, to see if you're approved to sell it right away, okay? That is super useful. This is the profit breakdown, so you can actually see what the fees are, what's your inbound shipping cost, what is your placement fees for FBA. You can toggle FBM if you want to FBM this product and, fulfill it yourself. That's how you can kind of do that. This right here is the integrated Keepa chart. So you can actually see the price consistency right here. And we can actually filter this to the past 6 months, and we can see how consistent the price is. So back here in January, this product was selling at 44, 47. Now it's selling for around 38, 39, 36. That's where the price is at right now, okay? The big tab right here is the offers tab. This is the most valuable part and feature to Scan Profit, because with this feature, we can actually look at what other people are selling on here. Okay, so you can click this store open, you can open them up, and you can see all of the products that they sell in their store. Okay, I'm not going to go over that today in this episode or in this part of the series. That'll be in the next series on how to find your first profitable product. But that is a very, very important feature. This is the buy box analyst. So this right here just gives us the details on the buy box statistics. So how much is the buy box rotating? That way you can be sure you're going to go ahead and be able to sell this product, no issues. Okay, that's super good. There's also a Google Sheets integration. So for your leads that you find, you can go ahead and export that to a Google Sheet so you actually have stuff to have set up over there. Okay, that is the Scan Profit portion. I'm going to quickly run through the settings you guys need to copy for your Scan Profit so you know exactly what settings to copy. Okay, so we're going to click here at the bottom, this little settings gear wheel icon, and then we're going to go over here to profit and cost settings. So choose your home marketplace. I am sourcing on the US marketplace, so I'm going to choose Amazon.com. If you are doing Canada, you can do Amazon.ca. If you're doing, I think this is Italy, I'm assuming Amazon.it. I'm not 100% sure, but you can choose your marketplace on there. I'm sure you will know what your marketplace is. Now, minimum profit here, I do $3. You could do 3 or 5. I think that's pretty good. You don't really want to go over $5 unless you're really only sourcing expensive items. But $3 to $5 is good. Minimum ROI is 25%. You can also add in here, if you guys have a prep center, you can add in a prep fee. That way, you have it already automatically factored in. I like to do the math manually. So if my prep fee is $1, I like to just add the dollar in through my head versus adding it to my software, but totally up to you guys. Inbound shipping fee, this right here is 0.6. So 0.6, that just means that 60 cents a pound is what you're going to be paying for inbound shipping to FBA. Okay, this is very important. I would just copy this as your settings. Inbound placement fees, minimal, and that is pretty much all I do for my settings. You can mess around with the panels over here. So I move my Seller Central up here at the 3rd level. That way you can quickly add products to your store and see if you're ungated to sell them. But that's it. That's all I change with my settings, and you are good to go with that. Now, let's touch on Keepa, what Keepa is, and why it's important. So this is Keepa right down here, okay? Very confusing. I know. It looks really confusing, especially if this is your first time looking at Keepa. But what Keepa does is it helps us basically see the price consistency, the amount of sellers that are on the listing. It just gives us a lot more information on the product, and that is really important before you go ahead and buy a product. So that's why we have Keepa. Now, what you want to do here, when you first have Keepa and you first get it set up, you first get your account, you're going to have all of these settings turned on, and your Keepa is going to look something like this, and it looks really confusing. You have so many things activated. So I'm going to follow along. I want you guys to follow along with me here. We're going to just show you what features you actually need to have stepped on. So I like to click this sub-ranks one off. That is our middle rank middle graph right here. I don't use that one. You guys can go ahead and use it if you would like. I don't. Okay, so I just turn it right off by clicking. I also turn off FBA, FBM, and list price. Sometimes you'll also see a lot more options in here. You can turn them all off, okay? I only use sales rank, buy box, and new. That is it, okay? And then at this bottom graph right here, I only use new offer count, okay? You can mess around with having ratings on here, but I just only do offer count, and that's what works really well for me. Just to give a quick explanation on what this bottom graph is, offer count is the amount of other competitors on this listing, okay? So currently we have 15 people selling this product. That is the amount of other sellers on here, okay? That's an important thing to note because you don't want to sell on a listing where there's too many people, too many sellers, and the price starts coming down because there's just too much competition. Now, I know you're probably wondering, well, what is too many sellers? Because I get this question asked to me every day. Like, what is too many sellers? How do we know if it's too many sellers? It's all relative to the amount of sales a listing has, okay? A rule of thumb that you can use to know if there's too many people on the listing is the offer count more than half of what the sales per month is? So for example, this product, the estimated sales is 100 plus a month. If there was more than 50 sellers on this listing, that would be very high, okay? And if there's a listing where you have 50 sales a month, if there's over 25 people on that listing, that's quite a few, okay? It's just a rule of thumb, okay? It is not a perfect formula for everything, but that's a rule of thumb that you can go ahead and use as a general gauge as to how many people are really on that listing, okay? How competitive? Is it too competitive? That's a general formula that you guys can go ahead and use. Now, this top graph in here, this is going to be mainly your price, okay? Price consistency, okay? So that's what this pinky purple line is. This is our buy box line. So how consistent the buy box price has been. With this specific product, I mean, this is very, very, very consistent, right? You guys can see this is a very straight line. I mean, this line is straighter than the line I just drew, right? It's a very consistent, stable price. That is a good thing. We like that. We want that. Now this green line, if I just detoggle everything here, this line called sales rank, this is actually the consistency on the sales every single month. So essentially, sales rank is a number given to every single product based on the sales, okay? So when you have a product that has a sales rank that is low, like if your sales rank is 1, that means it's the fastest selling product in that category. Whereas if your sales rank is 1 million, that means that product is not selling really at all, not very much, okay? So sales rank, you want your number to be lower. You don't want it to be super high, okay? I would say anything with a sales rank over like a 200,000, you're getting into territory where, it's very slow sales, okay? But even then, sales rank can really vary based on category and the sales. So I would recommend just using this, okay? What's the estimated sales on Scan Profit? We can see this one's 100 plus. That's pretty good. Anything that's 50 plus for a beginner is okay, okay? If it's less than 50, you're in territory where, again, it's pretty low. And, if that product tanks in price, you don't want to be sitting on a product for a very long time, okay? Because then you're really just losing money because it may never even sell, right? So you don't want that to happen, which is why I just recommend looking at that sales, estimated sales per month. Okay, that is what we have here for the two graphs. That's all you really need to know is price consistency and offer count, okay? Those are the two biggest things. The other thing I want to just quickly explain is the way this works, okay? The way the graph works is it's on a date range, okay? So in this little window here, we are looking at the past 120 days, okay? That is the window that we're looking at right here. If I click year, now we're looking at the past year, the price consistency has been, the offer count consistency, all that. And that is what the past year looks like. Now, if I hit the past 1,500 days, you can see the consistency of, the past 1,500 days, right? A huge date range. I would recommend, looking at the past year is useful, it's good, but I would also recommend setting a custom date range. I set a custom date range of 120 days. The way you do this is by going to settings and going to range and just inputting in here 120. That will automatically set you to 120 days. I find that 120 days is the best consistency to have for, looking at a product. Because if you look at 3 months, I just find that it's too short, right? Because you might see a product be, dead straight in the past month, but then you look at the past 3 months and it's all over the place in price, right? That's not a very consistent product. And then it's like, okay, well, I don't want to do too short. So then you look at past year, but it's like in the past year, every product will have some moment in time where the price probably dropped or someone messed up the price. Someone did something, right? But 120 days is that sweet spot where you see enough length and time of how consistent the product is, but it's not too long to where it looks super, super bad, okay? So hopefully that makes sense. It's very, very important that you guys use 120 days. I think it just is the best. And the other thing I want to quickly touch on is this setting right here called tracking settings. Make sure to put your tracking mode on Pro right here. And what this setting does is pretty incredible, okay? So what we can do is if we hit track product right here, there's this tab called new offer count, okay? This is very important because new offer count, again, means how many other sellers are on a listing. And why that's important is because let's say we sourced this product and, let's say we look back here, right? You can zoom in, by the way, by just clicking and dragging. So we can zoom in over here in September of this year or last year, and we can see, okay, this is at a 60 offer count. There's a lot of people on this listing, okay, right? That's more than double the sales per month. If you guys remember, it's 100 sales a month. So if there's over 60 people now, we're over that 50 people, okay? But what you can do is instead of moving on from this product and completely forgetting about it, you can actually set a Keepa tracker on this product. So what you can do is you can track it so that when the offer count drops and our price starts to go up, we get notified, right? Because anytime the offer count goes super high, right, it goes to 60, your price will drop. Your price will always go down. It may become unprofitable. It may not be as good because there's just too many people on the listing. You got a bunch of, idiots on there that are just dropping the price, going crazy. So what you can do, instead of just forgetting about this product completely, is we can set a tracker to have us notify when the offer count goes lower. So just for an example, with this product, let's say I was looking at it and I noticed the offer count is 60. I might go in here on the Keepa tracker and set it so that it notifies me when the offer count hits 30, right? I might put it so that offer count hits 30 or less, it gives me a notification. It'll give you an email, okay? Because last time, when that offer count went to around 30, that's when we seen that price starting to come back up, right? You can see up here, it's at 39, but back when it was at 60 sellers, it was only 33. So now, if we were to sell it over here when it goes up to 38, 39, even 40, now we're making the money, right? Now we're making an extra $10 almost in profit. So that's where having those Keepa trackers set on different products that you open up can be very beneficial, okay? There is a lot of opportunity with, just setting trackers on those products. This is something where if you guys set a tracker for products every single day, you will be fed product opportunities every single day if you consistently set them, okay? Without having to source new products every single day, you will just be notified about these product opportunities that shoot up in price and they have a lot less competition, okay? Something to think about, just a little food for thought on the Keepa trackers. There's something that is very underutilized by even seven-figure sellers, so something you guys can easily use and benefit from. Now, with that being said, that is going to wrap up today. Hopefully you guys found this useful. We went over exactly how to use Scam Profit, the settings, and how to use Keepa, why it's so good. Now, one thing I want you guys to know is in the next video, I'm going to be showing you guys step-by-step how to find your first product, actually start getting some sales, and building up this business. So make sure you guys click that video. It's going to be inside this playlist. That is part 4. Make sure you guys check that out. For those of you guys that made it this far, if you haven't opened up your seller account, make sure you open it up. And also, register for my next live training. That is going to be happening this Sunday, and I don't host them often. So make sure you register below this video. And for those of you guys that want to work with me directly and just have me walk you through this whole process, and maybe you need a little bit more hand-holding, You can apply to work one-on-one with me below this video. But with that being said, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everybody.